This is Manon, a member of Katsai who debuted through the survival show Dream Academy, earning her spot in the final lineup as
Hi, I'm Manon and I'm Katsai's visual.
In K-pop, the visual is usually the member most recognized for their looks, the one who best fits the industry beauty standards, and often the one who becomes the face of the group in media and promotions. But taking on this role comes with a lot of criticism, the biggest one being people questioning their importance because the only thing they truly bring to the table after all is a pretty face, right? On the survival show Dream Academy, other contestants openly expressed frustration against Manon. They had trained longer, honed their skills, and relied on hard work to stand out. Meanwhile, Manon was seen as having an advantage that came simply from her looks. And the audience picked up on it too, with many criticizing her, claiming she was guaranteed a spot simply because of her visuals.
Manon, she's getting so much attention. You know, people are upset because she doesn't put a lot of effort and she doesn't show up for her teams a lot. And so people are upset that she is the person who's getting so much attention. It's not based on anything right now. It's just because she's pretty, and that's true. She is pretty.
Is Manon here?
No, she's not here.
Okay.
Manon clearly knows about it because she's literally spoken to me saying that she's upset that we're saying things and all that, but why are you upset that we're frustrated at you, like when it's you're doing, and we told you that we're upset? And this just has been going on since the month that she came here.
But what happened on that survival show isn't just about one contestant, it's a glimpse into a larger system. Because if it were really just about looks, why would companies invest so heavily in training, promoting, and building entire groups around someone's appearance? How did beauty become a business model in K-pop? See, in the first and second generation of K-pop, visuals were just there. Groups weren't built around visuals in the way they are today. The focus was mostly on performance. Singing, dancing, stage presence. Of course, appearance still mattered, but it wasn't something that was openly structured into a role. That started to change in the late 2000s. When Girls' Generation debuted in 2007, people fixated on one member in particular, Yoona. And it wasn't just about her being pretty, it was about how clearly she fit an image, something almost ideal. Without anyone really saying it out loud, she became the reference point, the blueprint of what a visual was supposed to be. And because of that, something shifted. It wasn't just about talent anymore, it was about attention. And Yoona was bringing in a level of attention that extended far beyond the group itself. A few years later, in 2010, this pattern becomes even more obvious. When Miss A debuted, one member quickly became the center of public focus, Suzy. She dominated headlines, brand deals, and media appearances so much to the point where people started giving the groups nicknames like Suzy and Friends. And while that created imbalance and controversies within the group, it also proved something important, that a single member's image could carry massive visibility, not just for themselves, but for the entire group. And from that point on, the visual wasn't just a coincidence. It became something companies started to understand, and eventually something they began to build around. Now, why do visuals grab our attention so effortlessly? Why do some faces make us stop scrolling, watch longer, or care more about a group we barely know? Well, this isn't just luck. Humans are wired to notice beauty. Psychologists call it the halo effect. If someone is attractive, we instinctively assume they're talented, trustworthy, or important, even if we have no evidence. And companies have understood this for over a century. Back in the late 1800s, designers like Charles Frederick Worth started using real models to showcase clothing. Before that, dresses were just displayed on mannequins or illustrations, so using attractive people wasn't just decoration, it was a way to sell products. By the early 1900s, this had grown into a full industry. Magazine spreads, photo shoots, and advertisements all relied on appearance to capture attention and create desire. So it's not just K-pop that realized this works. Remember, humans are wired to notice beauty, and brands have long understood how to turn that into influence and profit. K-pop simply adapted it, placing visuals at the forefront of groups not merely as decoration, but as a strategic role designed to capture attention. And that's where the visual goes beyond just a pretty face. It's part of a system that's over 100 years old, using attraction to drive exposure, engagement, and ultimately value. And this is where it gets really interesting. If visuals can draw attention, can they actually change the trajectory of a group? Hani, a member of EXID, is a perfect example. The group had released Up and Down on August 27th of 2014, but it wasn't going anywhere. In fact, EXID was on the verge of disbandment. Their songs were stuck in relative obscurity, and it seemed like all their hard work might never pay off. Then, just 2 months later, on October 11th, a single fan cam of Hani performing Up and Down was uploaded. And suddenly, everything shifted. EXID went from almost unknown to everywhere. Hani's performance wasn't just about skill, it was about presence. Her expression, charisma, and yes, her appearance drew attention. That attention didn't just stop at her, it pulled the entire group into the spotlight. Opportunities, invitations, chart success, they all followed because people couldn't stop watching. And that's the point. A visual isn't just someone pretty in the group. When a visual connects with an audience, it creates momentum that the rest of the group rides. It's a force multiplier, and sometimes, as in EXID's case, it can literally change the fate of a song and the group itself. And what Hani showed, companies paid attention to, because today, the visual isn't left to chance anymore. Take Wonyoung. She keeps IVE constantly in people's attention through brand deals, viral moments, and public appearances. She keeps showing up, even when the group isn't promoting music. So the attention doesn't fade between comebacks, it stays, and it keeps IVE relevant at all times. And then there's Karina. From the moment aespa debuted, her visuals felt perfectly aligned with the group's concept. That futuristic, almost unreal digital world they were building. She didn't just fit the concept, she made it instantly recognizable. And even as her concepts evolve, that core image doesn't really disappear because she's still there. And that's what the visual has become now. It's not just about being noticed, it's about controlling attention, where it goes, how long it stays, and what people remember. At the start, it's easy to question the visual. There's no clear skill to measure, nothing obvious to compare, just someone who stands out. But the more you look at it, the more it starts to make sense. Because before anything else, before the music, before the performances, there's attention, and someone has to capture it.
네, 저희가 다음에 보여드릴 곡은 11인데요.
That's what the visual does. And once you see it like that, it stops feeling like the least important role. And maybe it never was.